At number 10 is her use of misleading filters. J.Lo decided to celebrate her 54th birthday with fans as she shared a claimed filter-free video to Instagram showcasing her multi-step skincare regime, with products from her eponymous line including her serum and sunscreen-infused moisturizer to help her achieve her signature glow. During the video, she mentioned how she felt better than ever, going on to claim that the video featured her bare face with no makeup. She went on to reiterate that she wasn't altering her face with filters or retouching of any kind, which came across less as empowering and more as a brag, as her skin was inconceivably flawless. The amount of times she pointed out this factor had people speculating on the validity of the claim, unsurprisingly, leading to a pretty divided comment section. Instagram users began discussing how she was definitely using a filter or at least some sort of specialty lighting, going on to mention how she looks much different in other pictures. Others pushed her to just show herself naturally, given that at 54 she still looks wonderful and that her skin wouldn't have the ability of looking like that without any help. There were others that defended J.Lo, no doubt, but the consensus in the comments really was that it was wrong of her to be misleading in this way, as it would only go on to make viewers feel self-conscious, not having something that is unobtainable. At number 9 is her scam of a beauty line. Back in the year of our Lord 2021, J.Lo launched a beauty brand claiming it was 20 years in the making. Prices ranged from $40 to $80, which wouldn't be too bad if that's what it really meant. Although the line received some good reviews, a number of people complained about the poor customer service, being charged for more than what they ordered. On the Better Business Bureau website, there are reports of over 57 customer complaints in just the last 12 months, many of which went on to mention that they had been signed up for a subscription service they had no prior knowledge of at the point of purchase. One person even went ahead and canceled the subscription they were forced into without complaint, but found that 4 months later they had been signed up for the service without their knowledge again, out of the blue, and charged $230 for a product they didn't order nor even receive, continuing by accusing J.Lo of being a scam artist. This is by far not the only reviewer that experienced something similar, each one of them also mentioning that when they called customer service, they were hung up on. At number 8 is her past of controlling Ben Affleck. After they tied the knot in 2022, it seems that Jen and Ben have had some trouble in paradise. Inside sources close to the couple revealed that Ben believes his life had become more difficult after getting married due to her controlling behavior and reportedly needs more space from her if their relationship is going to work. Since their viral appearance at the 2023 Grammys when Lopez seemingly snapped at Affleck over his bored facial expressions, which I mean, come on, it's a work party for him, the troubles in the relationship have become an extremely public affair. He was apparently really embarrassed to have the moment caught on video, as anyone would be. Sources went on to say that the couple attempts to play down the tension between them, however they don't hide it very well, and their differences in personalities do not bode well for their rocky relationship. Affleck has publicly stated that he wants the relationship to work, and that divorce is absolutely not on the table. At number 7 is one she denied to have had Botox. On another Instagram live, right after J.Lo dropped her aforementioned skincare line, she began giving some high praise to a face mask, saying that after using it she couldn't see a single line on her face, claiming that she feels like she's taken 10 years off. This isn't how face masks work. Niacinamides and peptides can only do so much, and a sheet mask you leave on for 15 minutes will just make your face gooey. Anyway, she faced backlash for this in a big way, with people in the comments suggesting that J.Lo's taut skin might be due to something more than the tri-fermented complex. People went on to mention that she must think her fans are stupid for trying to claim she doesn't have Botox because her face is literally frozen in place and her forehead is behind her ears. To these comments though, J.Lo responded saying, "Try spending your time being more positive, kind, and uplifting to others. Don't spend your time trying to bring others down. That will keep you youthful and beautiful too." So, not admitting to it is fine, but I guess that means everyone with age-appropriate marks on their body just wasn't nice enough. Alright. At number 6, she's apparently rude to her drivers. So I guess when she said uplifting others, she didn't mean service workers. Got it. In 2022, it surfaced that J.Lo's drivers allegedly have to follow a pretty strict set of rules in order to keep their job. A TikToker named Kayla claimed that her father once worked for a company that Lopez often hired to provide drivers. Her father would refuse to drive J.Lo after hearing stories about her poor temperament and absurd rules, such as not allowing drivers to look at her or talk to her, and that even if the driver looks through the rear view mirror, that this would be grounds to be violently scolded by the singer. She also has a policy where her luggage is not allowed to touch the ground. Then what are the wheels for on a suitcase? At her halfway point, she is a horrible tipper. J.Lo has no problem spending frivolously on herself with a $1 million wedding that she was also accommodated with a costly penthouse stay. However, again, the TikTokers have come for J.Lo, accusing her and her husband Ben Affleck of being notorious for not tipping their waitstaff. There are 2 specific stories that are really incriminating though. In one now deleted TikTok, a woman who alleges that Ben Affleck has one of the worst reputations in the casino industry because he's cheap and consistently rude to other players. The woman went on to claim that Lopez is known for being stingy. Lopez even tells Ben not to tip. Another woman on TikTok named Penny added to the allegations of her being anti-tipping. She She claimed that a woman she previously employed at a tavern she managed in Las Vegas once shared a story with her about an experience she had while working at a casino. She claimed she spent one night serving Affleck as he was at a poker table, not serving anybody else. Affleck gave her a generous tip of $10,000, however, once J.Lo caught wind of the tip, she allegedly snatched back the money. Apparently, Affleck was so humiliated by this, he sent a bouquet and a $25,000 tip to her the next day. And at number 4, we have that time where she refused to speak to a flight attendant. Allegations surfaced that while Lopez was on a flight, she apparently decided to completely ignore a flight attendant that was speaking directly to her. Now I know jet lag may get the best of you, and I'm no stranger to zoning out, but this situation was not the case. The United Airlines worker told Star magazine that Lopez simply doesn't speak directly to people outside her inner circle. After asking the singer if they could get her anything to drink, she refused to acknowledge them, instead turning to her assistant, telling the assistant to order her a Diet Coke. This apparently took them completely by surprise, quoting that she always seemed so sweet in movies and that it was jarring to see her true personality on display. At number 3, Jennifer Lopez allegedly makes her nannies work 16 hours a day. While her and Mark Anthony's twins are now well into their teenage years and no longer need nannies, when they did, the job was apparently grueling. Since both Mark and Jen would obviously be extremely busy with their crazy celebrity jobs, they needed a full-time nanny to raise, or I mean watch and take care of, the twins. According to Today magazine, J.Lo required her nannies to work upwards of 16 hours every day of the week. The worst part was that the now ex-couple only hired one nanny, which is peculiar because usually these situations with people who have loads of money would hire multiple streams of professional and social help, such as, at the very least, hiring a nanny for each child, especially for newborns. As well, it was as if Jennifer expected one nanny not only to take care of both twins, but to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Unsurprisingly, the first nanny she hired left after just a week of working for her, and the second nanny they hired was apparently wonderful with the twins, but couldn't take working illegal hours without a break, so also quit after a week. Our runner-up is that Lopez allegedly doesn't acknowledge her backup singers. Again, the TikTokers will not let J.Lo have a minute. A user on the app, Julia Wang, shared her story of meeting one of J.Lo's backup singers. Wang alleges that the woman was a part of a Vegas concert that J.Lo was performing at, and the backup singer said that if you were quote, pretty or Latina, it was game over and she hated you. Wang further claimed that J.Lo refused to talk or even look at any of them during the many hours of rehearsal time, except for an occasional eye roll or scoff. Overall, Jen acted like a bully with her employees, as though she was above all of them. Even though she's the star of the act, they've still been hired for the same act as her. How can your ego be that big? Apparently though, J.Lo's demeanor does a 180 when a man walks into the room, with many speculating that she only treats the women poorly because she views them as competition. At number 1 is her various feuds. J.Lo has had her fair share of scuffs with other ladies in the industry, most infamously in the early 2000s with Mariah Carey, when Mariah accused J.Lo of stealing her music and then in another interview stating that she didn't know who J.Lo was. And the ladies are still not fond of each other, even now. In 2017, the Mariah drama proved to not be over after singer Brandy posted a picture of her and Mariah Carey on Instagram. As innocent as it seems, it was what the caption said that got caught in the rumor mill. Brandy captioned the photo #SheKnows Me, and it didn't take long for fans to assume that this was an obvious jab at J.Lo, being clear payback from Carey's iconic interview about J.Lo, and it seemed like Brandy was taking sides. Needless to say, she didn't side with J.Lo, and rumors of a feud have been speculated ever since. Jen also got into a scuffle with Nicki Minaj in 2012 when Nicki showed up on the American Idol stage while J.Lo was a judge on the show, and after performing, Nicki jokingly announced that she would like to join the judges table and told J.Lo to quote, scoot over. A few years later, J.Lo performed at the American Music Awards, and she included Nicki's hit song Anaconda in the mashup, and the camera immediately panned to Nicki, and her face soon became a joke online for how obviously unimpressed she looked.
Starting us off at number 10, we have controlling Ben Affleck. One rumor Jennifer would definitely try to hide is how controlling she's been rumored to be. Several sources have spoken up about the state of Jennifer and Ben Affleck's marriage, mentioning numerous things that annoy her about him. According to an insider, one significant issue for Jen is Ben's smoking habit, which has been a long-standing behavior of his. The insider shared he promised to give it up, but with all her nagging, he's smoking more than ever. In addition to his smoking habit, it seems Ben might have a cleanliness problem as well. The source shared, Ben doesn't clean up after himself, which irritates Jennifer. The source also criticized Jennifer's approach to nagging her husband, saying she's been known to yell at him and point her finger. It makes people wonder if she mistakes him for a dog. Moreover, Jennifer didn't hold back in an interview when she suggested that Ben had no fashion sense. Recounting a conversation with him, she stated, I did kind of like say, you need to be, you're a movie star. You should wear a suit, You should do this with your hair. Going on to say, he didn't do anything he didn't want to do. He had some good fashion moments when he was with me. At number 9, we have the Botox accusations. Despite Jennifer's denial, numerous dermatologists claim that she has had Botox done in the past. Following the launch of her skincare brand J.Lo Beauty, Jennifer faced significant backlash. She attributed her ageless appearance to her skincare products, but many fans remain skeptical. And in a makeup-free selfie she shared, her skin appeared unusually flawless, raising suspicions. Jennifer has previously stated, "I haven't had Botox to this day, I'm not that person," asserting that olive oil, not cosmetic procedures, was her secret. Dermatologist Corey Hartman challenged her claim on Instagram, suggesting that Jennifer might be conveniently forgetting any previous Botox treatments, and emphasized that olive oil alone couldn't produce her results. Quote, "I think Jennifer is probably forgetting if she's ever had Botox, but I know for sure that she's used more than olive oil to maintain that glow." In response, Jennifer defended her practices in an interview, doubling down that her approach works, saying, "I'm telling you what I do works. Please don't call me a liar. I don't lie about things. I've been pretty honest about my whole life." She also engaged with fans on Instagram, denying accusations of Botox use. However, many people agree that achieving her youthful look solely through olive oil would be impossible given her age. At number 8, we have Interview with Movie Line. Was she using this interview as an opportunity to criticize her fellow women in the industry, or was she genuinely just expressing her admiration for them? J.Lo's 1998 Movie Line interview has gained notoriety due to her interesting critiques of other women in the industry. One of the targets of her criticism was Madonna and her acting skills. When asked about Madonna, she supposedly responded by saying, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that, I can act.' I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Gwyneth Paltrow was another person J.Lo targeted in this interview. When asked about Gwyneth, J.Lo replied, "I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association." She further commented, "I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Cameron Diaz was the next subject of J.Lo's harsh remarks. When discussing Cameron, she said, "A lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities, I just wish she would have done more with." She also somewhat dismissed the actress by adding, "She's beautiful and has a great presence though, and in my best friend's wedding, I thought, when directed, she can be good." 20 years later, when asked about this interview, she admitted knowing that it had upset some people. She explained, "I was still in that kind of fan mentality back in the Bronx. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, you have a responsibility to present yourself in the way that you are and not let people interpret it in a way that could be that you're this hurtful, callous person." And number 7 is the makeup artist banishment. This situation is a prime example of J.Lo believing a complete lie and then running with it. Back in the mid-2000s, she went after her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes, like nobody's business. Why? Well, there were rumors floating around that someone in her inner circle spilled the beans about her secret wedding to Mark Anthony. And let me tell you, Jen was not happy about it. Scott spilled the tea during an interview, revealing that he was practically banished by J.Lo for a whole year, even though it turned out someone else leaked the info. He said at the time, "It was like I had the plague." But here's the kicker. Even after they started working together again, Jen never bothered to apologize. They just swept it under the rug like it never happened. He said, "I went back to work with her and we just never spoke about it again." Talk about weird. And number 6 is the relationship with Ben's ex. How are J.Lo and Ben's ex-wife Jennifer Garner getting along? While both parties may claim that there's no beef, the reality might be a bit more complicated. While one source suggested that the two have developed a friendship, other insiders' accounts seem to contradict this. During an interview, Garner revealed her deliberate efforts to avoid any news about herself or her ex-husband. She said, "I work hard not to see either of us in the press. It doesn't make me feel good, even if it's something nice about one of us." She went on to add, "I don't need to see anyone in my family made into a meme." When asked if she had seen the Ben memes, she replied saying no, but acknowledged that he tends to attract meme-worthy attraction. These comments didn't sit well with J.Lo, according to an insider who shared, It's Jennifer's way of saying Ben looks miserable and all his appearances in public are lame. How could J.Lo not take it personally? The source further disclosed J.Lo's feelings, noting that while part of her may want to respond and confront Garner, she's smart enough not to make a public scene. So it seems that Ben will play the role of mediator between the two, and that Jennifer Garner holds strong opinions about J.Lo that she prefers to keep away from the public eye. And number 5 is trouble in Bennifer paradise. Is J.Lo being less than truthful about the realities of married life? When she and Ben first got together, insiders revealed that Jennifer was over the moon. But now it seems like she's come crashing back down to reality. Multiple sources have chimed in, claiming that the honeymoon phase has faded since they settled into their LA home. According to one source, they're back to the grind of work and parenting. Reality has set in. That's not all though. The same source spilled the tea that Ben stormed out of the house recently after a heated argument. Allegedly, the couple has been at each other's throats non-stop since tying the knot. Another insider shared, before the wedding, Jennifer put on an Oscar-worthy performance for Ben, pretending to be the secret, easygoing wife-to-be, claiming Ben was blinded by love and just didn't really know what he was getting into. Now we've seen them at events where they appear to be in the midst of a tiff, but could those moments have been taken out of context, or is there some truth to what these sources are dishing out? At number 4, we have the Selena film. It looks like Jen can't handle media attention and critics as well as she'd like us to believe. Back in 1997, she got pretty riled up over a journalist's criticism of her role in Selena. While lots of people loved the movie and Jen's performance, the particular journalist didn't feel the same way. They wrote, "The one thing you don't do when you walk out of this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Later in an interview, Jennifer later addressed this, saying, "There are certain people marked for death already. I have my little list of journalists that have treated me unfairly." But the drama didn't stop there, and it seems she couldn't let this critique go. In an interview with the Animated Times, she revealed, "I was totally happy with my work on Selena, but out of the 700 reviews, I can quote the one who said the one thing you don't do when you walk out of this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Going on to say, "When another person from the same magazine came up to me, the first thing I said to her was, 'You tell that other bee that writes for your magazine that I'm never talking to her again.' So note to self, don't write a bad view about J.Lo unless you want her to hold a grudge forever." Next at number 3, we have her feud with Mariah Carey. Everyone and their cousin knows about the long-standing rumor that Mariah Carey is J.Lo's ultimate arch-nemesis, and let me tell you, some of the reported incidents make it seem like there might be some truth to it. This feud goes way back to the 90s, and despite their denials of any bad blood, it's pretty clear that something isn't right between them. So here's the scoop. Apparently it all started because of Mariah's ex-husband, Tommy. In her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, she spilled the tea about working on her single Loverboy and using a sample from a Yellow Magic Orchestra song. But here's the kicker. Her ex, Tommy, who was the big shot at Sony Music, seemed a tad bitter about the divorce and decided to play dirty. Mariah spilled the beans in her memoir, saying, "After hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label." Now, Mariah never explicitly mentioned J.Lo by name, but it wasn't rocket science to figure out who she was talking about, and things only went downhill from there. In a 2002 interview, Mariah threw some serious shade J.Lo's way. When asked about their feud, she coolly replied, "There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. My whole thing is singing, writing songs. I've been doing this my whole life. Singing is first and foremost. It's a God-given talent that I'm grateful for. Her thing is something different." Then during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, J.Lo finally gave her side of the story. When asked about Mariah, she shot back saying, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day I've read things that she said about me that were not the greatest." J.Lo didn't hold back, adding, "But we have never met, we don't know each other. I think it's from word of mouth of things that have happened in the past." And number 2 is the first Bennifer breakup. It seems like Ben and Jen have different memories of why they called off their first wedding back in 2003. According to sources, Jen supposedly claimed that they didn't envision a future with compatible goals. As one source told Page 6, they were on very different paths at the end of it. Jennifer was ready to settle down and have kids, but Ben wasn't keen on giving up his bachelor lifestyle just yet. The source added she got tired of waiting for him to come around, even though it broke her heart to end things. However, did Ben feel the same way at the time? A leaked conversation that occurred after their split revealed that Ben despised the excessive media attention surrounding their wedding, which ultimately led to the initial postponement. He allegedly said, "It's driving me crazy, everything is spiraling out of control." And finally, at number 1, we have her diva behavior. Jen has been labeled a diva throughout her entire career, and it's a reputation that seems to have stuck with her in Hollywood. Reportedly, Jennifer refused to travel for a commercial that she agreed to do. For the commercial, she was going to be driving through the Bronx, the neighborhood where she grew up, to show what inspired her. But she apparently refused to leave LA, forcing a body double to have to step in and do all the work to make the ad for her. Her demands when staying at hotels are also known to be way over the top. Apparently, during her stay at a London hotel, she insisted on a suite fit for royalty, complete with roses, specific candies, freshly baked cookies, and plain M&Ms. Insiders who have encountered J.Lo as staff members have also come forward to share their experiences. For instance, while on a flight, Jen reportedly ignored a flight attendant asking her for her drink order and instead spoke through her personal assistant to relay her request. Without even looking at him, she turned to her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime." Yikes. Despite numerous accounts from other celebrities and staff members recounting their encounters with Jen, she has consistently denied her diva persona. In an interview, she defended herself by saying, "I got a moniker of being a diva, which I never felt I deserved," going on to say, "I've always been a hard worker, on time, doing what I'm supposed to do."
Number 10. Botox. Has Jennifer had Botox in the past? She would tell you no, but many dermatologists would disagree. Jen started receiving major backlash after the release of her skincare brand J.Lo Beauty. She claimed that this was the secret to her ageless appearance, which many just don't believe. The star shared a makeup-free selfie and her skin looks a little bit too perfect. She has been quoted in the past saying, "I haven't had Botox to this day, I'm not that person." She went on to claim that it was olive oil and not a procedure of any sort, saying, "My mom used to say that olive oil was a cure-all for everything. So when we went to do this, that was the first thing I said, it has to have olive oil." After this statement, the dermatologist Corey Hartman took to Instagram and wrote his opinion, saying, "I think Jennifer is probably forgetting if she's had Botox, but I know for sure that she's used more than olive oil to maintain that glow." Going on to add, "To each their own, good luck J.Lo with the olive oil, we don't believe you, but we still love you, Jenny." Jennifer shot back though, and when asked about the Botox speculation during an interview with People, she said, "I'm telling you what I do works. Please don't call me a liar, I don't lie about things. I've been pretty honest about my whole life." She even responded to some of them criticism on her Instagram and commented back at fans claiming that she had Botox, saying, "For the 500th millionth time, I have never done Botox or any injectables or surgery." But it seems many are in agreement that it would just be impossible to achieve that look at her age with just olive oil. Number 9. The movie line interview. Was she using this interview as a chance to bash her fellow women in the industry? Or was she, like she has claimed, just in a fan mentality? The movie line interview from 1998 is now infamous because of J.Lo's interesting critiques of other women in the industry. One woman she attacked was Madonna and her acting. When asked about Madonna, she allegedly responded by saying, "Do I think she's great? No. Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, and I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act." And I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft. Gwyneth Paltrow was another victim of this interview. When asked about Gwyneth, J.Lo responded by saying, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God I don't remember anything she's in. Some people get hot by association." Going on to say, "I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Cameron Diaz was next up in the pretty harsh interview. Jen said when discussing Cameron, "She's a lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. I just wish she would have done more with it." She went on to kind of dismiss the actress by saying, "She's beautiful and has a great presence. Though in My Best Friend's Wedding, I thought when directed she's good." She was then asked about this interview 20 years later, and she did admit that she knew it really angered some people. She said at the time, "I was still in that kind of fan mentality back in the Bronx. And then you go, oh wait a minute, you have to present yourself in the way that you are." Going on to say, "So I learned to be more responsible." Number 8. Controlling. One thing I'm sure Jen would deny is how controlling she's been known to be. Sources have come forward to speak about how Jen and Ben Affleck's marriage is going, and it seems like there's a lot that annoys her about him. An insider claims that Ben's smoking habit is a big deal for Jen, as this is one of his long-standing habits. They revealed he's promised to give it up, but with all her nagging working, he's smoking even more. Besides his most likely very annoying smoking habit, the source also reveals Ben may also have a bit of a cleanliness problem as well, sharing Ben doesn't clean up after himself, which really irritates Jennifer. The source also discusses the way Jennifer goes about nagging her husband, saying she's been known to yell at him and point her finger. It makes people wonder if she mistakes him for a dog. Not only this, but Jen really threw Ben under the bus when she suggested in an interview that Ben had no idea how to dress himself. She recalled a conversation with him and said, "I did kind of like say, you need to be, you're a movie star, you should wear a suit. You should do this with your hair." Going on to say he didn't do anything he didn't want to do. He had some good fashion moments when he was with me. Number 7, the makeup artist. This is more of an instance of J.Lo believing a lie and then completely running with it. In the mid-2000s, Jen really came after her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes. This came after rumors began circulating that someone in her inner circle had leaked information about her private marriage ceremony to Mark Anthony. During an interview, Scott explained what it was like to be basically banished by Jen for a whole year until it was revealed that someone else leaked the information. He said at the time, "It was like I had the Black Plague." He went on to explain that while he did get his job back, Jen supposedly didn't apologize. Scott revealed, "I went back to work with her and we just never spoke about it again, which is even weirder." Number 6, the Mariah Carey feud. It's been a long-known rumor that Mariah Carey is J.Lo's #1 nemesis, and after some of the reported incidents, it really does seem like this rumor is true. This feud dates back to the 90s and they have both since denied that there is no bad blood, but that just really does not seem to be the truth. Allegedly, the beginning to this long fight began because of Mariah's ex-husband Tommy. In her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah, she explained how she was working on the single Loverboy when she obtained a sample from the Yellow Magic Orchestra song, what she was going to use for her single. But it seems like Tommy, who was the head of Sony Music, was a bit bitter over the divorce and had other plans. Mariah wrote in her memoir saying, "After hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label." But even after Mariah continued telling fans and interviewers that she didn't know J.Lo, it wasn't hard to figure out that this was who she was referring to. It really only went downhill from here though, and during a 2002 interview, Mariah threw more shade J.Lo's way. When asked about her feud with J.Lo, she responded by saying, "There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. My whole thing is singing and writing songs. I've been doing this my whole life, and singing is first and foremost. It's a God-given talent and I'm grateful for it. Her thing is something different." Of course, J.Lo was aware of what was being said about her to the public, and during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, she ended up giving her side of the story. When asked about Mariah, she responded by saying, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day I've read some things that she said about me that weren't the greatest." She continued on by saying, "But we have never met, we don't know each other. I think it's from word of mouth of things that have happened in the past." Number 5, trouble in paradise. Has Jen been lying about her struggles of married life? When they first got together, an insider revealed that Jennifer was walking on air. But now it appears she's come down to reality, as multiple sources have claimed the honeymoon phase has worn off since settling into their life in their home in LA. While both are working with busy careers and the stress of blending two families, could it all just be too much? A source tells the press they're back to the grind of work and parenting. Reality has set in. The same source also explained that only recently, Ben stormed out of the house following an intense fight. Allegedly, the couple have been arguing non-stop since the wedding. A second source says, before the wedding, Jennifer put on an Oscar-worthy performance for Ben, pretending to be perfect and an easygoing wife, claiming Ben was blinded by love and just didn't know what he was really getting himself into. The two have been spotted at various events and look to be fighting in various clips. But could this just be out of context moments, or is there some truth to what the sources have revealed? Number 4, demanding. Being called a diva throughout her career is nothing new to Jen. She has a bad rep in Hollywood for being supposedly somewhat of a diva, and the evidence is pretty incriminating. Reportedly, Jennifer refused to travel for a commercial that she agreed to do. For the commercial, she was meant to drive through the Bronx, where she grew up, to show what inspired her. But reportedly, she refused to leave LA, forcing a body double to have to step in and do all the work to make the ad for her. Her hotel demands are also known to be excessive. Allegedly, while staying at a hotel in London, she demanded a suite that was fit for royalty, with roses, specific brand of candles, and baked cookies with plain M&Ms. Insiders have come forward to share their experiences as staff when encountering J.Lo. Reportedly, while flying, Jen refuses to acknowledge any staff. An airline attendant claims he offered her a drink, but she didn't even look at him before looking at her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke with lime." Even with all the celebrities and other staff members coming forward to discuss their experiences with Jen, she's continued to deny her diva energy. She said during an interview, "I got a moniker of being a diva, which I never felt I deserved, which I don't deserve." Going on to say, "I've always been a hard worker, on time and doing what I'm supposed to do. Number 3, her friendship with Garner. How are J.Lo and Ben's ex-wife Jennifer Garner really getting along? While the two would say that there's no bad blood, is that really the truth? While one source claims that the two have forged a friendship, other insiders' claims seem to contradict this. During an interview, Garner shares how she's been working hard to not look at any news regarding her or her ex-husband. She said, "I work hard to not see either of us in the press. It doesn't make me feel good, even if it's something nice about one of us." She went on to add, "I don't need to see my family made into a meme." After she was asked if she has seen the Ben memes, and she replied by saying no, but admitting that he is quite meme-worthy. This didn't sit well with J.Lo at all, and an insider shared, "It's Jennifer's way of saying Ben looks miserable, and all of his appearances in the public are lame. How could J.Lo not take it personally?" Adding that the comments made were a big FU to J.Lo. The source further revealed the star's feelings, saying, "Part of her wants to fire back and tell Jennifer off, but she's smart enough to not make too much of a scene publicly. So it'll all be up to Ben to be the referee. Seems like maybe she's some pretty strong opinions that she'd rather the press not know." Number 2, the 2003 split. Seems like Ben and Jen have varying views as to why they called off their first wedding back in 2003. Jen supposedly has claimed that the two just weren't seeing a future with similar visions together. A source told Page 6 they were on very different paths at the end of it. Jennifer was ready to settle down and have kids, but Ben wasn't keen on giving up his bachelor lifestyle just yet. Going on to say she got tired of waiting for him to come around, even though it broke her heart to end things. But is this what Ben felt at the same time? In a conversation that was released after the two split, revealed how Ben hated all the attention the wedding was getting, which is one of the reasons the two called for the original postponement of their big day. He reportedly says, "It's driving me crazy, everything is out of control." And at number 1, we have Selena. Reportedly, Jen can't handle media attention and critics as well as she'd like people to believe. Back in 1997, Jen was criticized by a journalist for her role in the film Selena. Though many people loved the movie and Jen's performance, one journalist really felt the star's wrath for not loving it. The journalist wrote at the time, "The one thing you don't do when you walk into this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" During an interview, Jen said, "There are certain people marked for death already. I have my little list of journalists that have treated me unfairly." It didn't end there though, and it looked like she really couldn't handle the heat. Jen was quoted by Animated Times that when asked about the review, she said, "I was totally happy with my work on Selena, but out of the 700 reviews, I can quote, 'The one thing you don't do when you walk into this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Going on to say, "When another person from the same magazine came up to me, the first thing I said to her was, 'You tell that other bee that writes for your magazine that I'm never talking to her again.'" Definitely a note for other journalists is don't write a bad review about J.Lo because she will never forget.
It attends Super Bowl 2020. In her, I guess, kind of somewhat recently released documentary of Halftime, J.Lo expressed her unfiltered opinion about sharing the stage and being limited to only 12 minutes of performance time alongside Shakira during the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show, labeling it as, quote, "the worst idea in the world." One scene captured her frustration as she argued that if they were going to be billed as double headliners, they deserved a longer slot of 20 minutes instead. However, following her remarks, some fans criticized the artist, labeling her as entitled for her negative comments. J.Lo's candid remarks in the documentary showcased just interesting perspectives, especially since she was mad that she had to share the stage with Shakira. Hey, look, I'm sorry J.Lo, but only one of you has been on Wizards of Waverly Place, okay? And it wasn't you. So I think that I know who I'm preferring here, alright? Gotta love the uncle from Wizards of Waverly Place because it was established in that show's lore that he is Shakira. Yep, that's what I'm going with. In a 9, Fiat. Back in 2011, Jennifer Lopez participated in a Fiat commercial, or as my family calls it, FERT. We say that as a joke, okay, relax. Aiming to showcase her Bronx roots and how they influenced her. However, it was revealed that J.Lo didn't actually want to go to her hometown for the shoot. Yeah, surprisingly, a lookalike was employed to fulfill the actual physical aspects of the ad while she was driving through the Bronx, while the ad was supposedly supposed to capture the singer's life story. Yeah, she was only in it for the close-ups, the rest wasn't her. This revelation exposed the behind the scenes that's involved in creating the commercial, but still, okay, a doppelganger took on the role that was supposed to be Jennifer's upbringing in her life in the Bronx, and they just didn't, because she refused to come back. It raised questions about authenticity of celebrity endorsements, but I mean, at this point, we all know that they're probably all fake. Come on. Alright, the lengths that companies will go to is kind of nuts, and you know what, she was probably still paid the full amount. And it ate Pepper Potts. During her notable interview with Movie Line in 1998, the renowned singer of On the Floor didn't hold back in throwing shade at numerous Hollywood figures, including a certain Iron Man actress. Jennifer Lopez bluntly questioned the actress's filmography, stating, quote, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in." I mean, Iron Man hadn't come out at the time, but still, okay? Lopez further expressed her perception that some individuals achieve fame through associations rather than their own body of work, mentioning that she had heard more about the actress's personal life with Brad Pitt than her actual professional accomplishments. The unfiltered critique showcased just a lot about her personality. I mean, people didn't really care at the time because no one really knew who Pepper Potts was, but I mean, like, I'm also calling her Pepper Potts and not Gwyneth Paltrow. Still, you don't do that on TV. Come on. At least have a modicum of professionalism. In its 7 hotel demands. During her stay at London's prestigious Dorchester Hotel in 2007, that's how I'm gonna say it, if I said it wrong, oh well, Jennifer Lopez reportedly made extravagant requests seeking a suite befitting royalty. According to a source, she insisted on having her favorite brand of candles, roses, freshly baked cookies, and plain M&Ms. Apparently, I don't know why that's like a random one, but okay. Additionally, it is said that Jennifer requested all white couches, candles, and just like specific food items for her on-tour riders as well. These demands were people say, oh, she's like, oh, she has attention for detail, but like, come on, bro, you have a reputation for indulging in lavish lifestyle. This is not a good thing. I get that you're famous, but that doesn't mean that you deserve that. In its 6 lying accusations, Lopez made it clear that she didn't appreciate the comparisons to Salma Hayek, emphasizing that they operate in distinct artist domains, according to Lopez. As she said, Hayek's repertoire primarily revolves around portraying seductive bombshell characters, while she herself embraces a broader range of roles. Lopez found amusement in Hayek's claim of being offered the lead in Selena, dismissing it as just blatant falsehood. She accused her of lying about being offered a role. She attributed the statements to just her quest for publicity, acknowledging that everyone has their own methods for garnering attention. By expressing her views, though, Lopez showed us her methods of garnering attention. Yeah, that's right, I'm throwing it right back at you. You don't care, you're not gonna watch this. I don't know, maybe I'll end up in a BuzzFeed article. Random white dude slams J.Lo. I doubt BuzzFeed cares. Top 10 times J.Lo was the worst? I say that as a joke, but that's also literally this channel. And at number 5, PA who? Reports suggest that when flying first class, Jennifer Lopez is known for her selective communication. United Airlines attendants shared an incident where he offered her a drink during a flight, only to be met with silence from her instead. She instructed her personal assistant to relay her request, saying, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime," even though he was literally right there. The incident aligns with previous accounts indicating that Jennifer prefers to communicate indirectly with service personnel, opting to relay her requests through her assistants. I mean, like, while it's not uncommon for public figures to like utilize intermediaries in communication, he was right behind you, okay? This behavior is just, it's not nice. And it's apparently been observed consistently with Jennifer Lopez. How pretentious can you be? That's one of the words that I was thinking of. The other ones I can't really say on YouTube, but you know what I mean, all right? You get it. And at 4, dragged Madonna. In that interview with Movie Line, the star of Hustlers also openly expressed her views on the Queen of Pop, acknowledging her as a remarkable performer, but not considering her a great actress. She said, as someone who was deeply committed to their craft, the star holds higher standards when it comes to acting and becomes more critical when others claim that they can easily do so, with a protective stance towards their profession. I've seen this before. It's not good. It's not cute. It's not a good look, okay? Like, sure, you can emphasize the importance of respecting acting and like discouraging belittling it, but you're also dismissing someone who's doing the same thing you are and actively belittling them. So your argument kind of shoots itself in the foot with a Nerf gun, YouTube, okay? I'm being safe there. I don't care for Jennifer Lopez, but now I just don't like her. I didn't think I could care less, but apparently I could. Getting close to the end in number 3, J-Rod trauma. J-Rod abroad, the sizzling celebrity duo composed of Jennifer and Alex Rodriguez had captivated the public, but they were just a glamorous facade, okay? There are actually rumors that Alex is scared of Jennifer. It's said that Jennifer presented him with a set of guidelines that he had to adhere to in order to maintain their relationship, which I mean, like, setting boundaries is normal. If you're having to call them guidelines or they're being described as guidelines, that sounds more like a contract to me, and I don't even care about 5 shades of gray, let alone 50. So according to an insider from Radar Online, Alex was prohibited from socializing with women under 40. He was expected to devote a specific amount of time each week to Jennifer, and specific instructions were given regarding his positioning when they attended red carpet events together. Yeah, look, I've had crappy relationships, but at least I didn't have this. Actually, I might have preferred this, because at least being scared of someone is worse than having to go through months and months and months of therapy. But that's aside the point. Moving on. But ultimately, in at number 2, Winona Ryder. During the same interview as the one above talking about Pepper Potts, the celebrity also made another casual remark stating that she was never particularly fond of Winona Ryder. Despite the latter's back-to-back Academy Award nominations in the 1990s, the superstar, while acknowledging Ryder's revered status in Hollywood and her accolades, expressed her personal observation that she had never encountered widespread public or personal admiration for the actress, saying, quote, "I've never heard anyone in the public or among my friends say, 'Oh, I love her.'" This offhand comment offered a glimpse into the superstar's perspective on Ryder's popularity and revealed her own personal opinion on the matter. The statement ignited further discussion and analysis within the public sphere as fans and critics examined the contrasting views of two prominent figures in the entertainment industry, but like still, again, you don't just shit talk other professional actors on TV in an interview. Like, I get that it was the 90s, but still, it's still stupid. And look, I'm talking about it now, 23 years later. So there you go. And finally, in at number 1, Ice Cube Boy. This is my favorite number by far because it is the most ridiculous thing. Like, sure, the other ones are just messed up, but this is stupid. During the production of her 2002 music video, Jenny from the Block, Jennifer Lopez aimed for perfection in every detail. According to reports, she went to great lengths to ensure that her appearance was flawless by hiring a stylist whose specific task was to maintain the perkiness of her nipples. Not even kidding. With his own tray of ice cubes. This individual was dedicated to manually keeping the nipples just solid throughout the shoot. What the actual fuck? This behind the scenes revelation showcases just how stupid some of these videos can be, okay? Like, sure, it's funny and like the anecdote is just insane and offers a glimpse into extraordinary measures, but come on. Dude, imagine having to put this on your resume. Imagine walking out of that shoot and being like, Jennifer Lopez nipple tweaker. That's on your resume now.